Good morning again. I had to check my calendar. Yeah, it's the 1st of October, all right. Yes, there's no 31 days in September. I had trouble with that nursery rhyme when I was younger that would help us with the calendar. I'm sorry, it's just one of those that I had a problem with. So it's the 1st of October, and it is Saturday morning, probably about 5 in the morning. This is an answer to Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson, I have a lot of admiration for you. You're applying psychology and philosophy in a very broad sense to our society at large, and you definitely are a helping force. I probably owe you an apology. I didn't like you right away. And I didn't like you because it appeared to me you were omitting, telling us truthfully who the bad guys were. And I thought you might have been protecting them. But at this point, I can apologize because I can see definitely you don't know who the bad guys are. And you also don't understand the Bible that well. And that's okay. I mean, I don't understand it that well myself. It's a constant learning thing. And I probably read the Bible, boy, I don't know at this point, a dozen times. So I doubt you've had the time, and I focus strictly on the Bible for a long time. And I do read some other things, but I focus exclusively on the Bible after 2 strokes that I had in 2006. I was incapacitated, to put it mildly. It was extremely profound. It was a very rough time of life for me. I had problems with, I lost a lot of abilities. I lost, I used to do calculus in my head. You know, I did advanced statistics, and I was sitting at a restaurant and I couldn't calculate a simple tip using paper and pencil. An a la carte item of $3.49 at the time, as I remember. I remember it well because I struggled with it for 20 minutes and finally gave up. And I needed to tip them for more than that anyway. I think that a la carte item today is probably $7.49. I had other deficits going on immediately, and I still have deficits from that. So I admit that I was wounded and impaired. However, my healing came about because I sat on my butt and read the Bible. It took about 1.5 years for me to get results. I would sit every day, I would exercise, I would eat as well as I could. And at the end of 1.5 years, my short-term working memory began to return to me. So this put me on a path that was quite a bit different. I had read every book in my library, every book on my shelf, every reference that the things that interested me led me to, I read those as well, except for one, that being the Bible. I had been to Bible college for a semester. It didn't go particularly well there for me. I had a bad accident at that time, and that left me in pretty much a disarray. I had to have back surgery as a result of that. It was pretty bad. That was quite a while ago. However, I think that it helped me in my path. And probably, I would have to admit at this point that Yahweh, Creator, Father, arranged for that. That was set up. It was in the mix for a long time. And it was purposeful. Do I criticize the stroke? Yeah, I do. I don't like having gone through it. However, it humbled me. It put me on my butt. It made me read the Bible. It made me come to a much greater understanding. As a matter of fact, I have 5 formal degrees, but I did not consider myself educated until I had read the Bible to a bit of understanding, probably the 3rd time. Also, my lot in life, my purpose in life seems to have required that the wind be taken out of my sails, that I be humbled. And I can truly say that the Bible has built me up. A lot of you out there may say, my God, this guy is old, he's impaired. I know, I've read the comments, I've left them there. Yeah, I understand, I'm old enough to be a grandpa for sure. This month, I'm not going to be a young man anymore. I'm hitting numbers that are, I think, are just kind of high, even for me. But I want to answer Dr. Peterson and tell you, sir, the Bible is much more important than what you say. And I appreciate you applying your capacities, mental capacities, wonderful mental capacities to this. Yes, it is foundational. It is far more important than what people realize. And there's a lot more meaning there, and you definitely have cracked the book. I can tell that because you understand that it really proves how little we know when we read the Bible. As we continue to read it, I don't think there's any arrival at the point at which we'll say, hey, that's it, buddy, I know it all. Shh, I know enough to be a little dangerous, probably. The Bible is the foundation for Western civilization. And you struck upon another fellow of importance out there, the Shakespearean plays. Those are also foundational. And so we need to look at the importance of those two collections of literature. And in case you're wondering, the Bible that prevails today, the King James Bible, actually was produced by the same man who wrote all of the Shakespearean plays. As a matter of fact, I am related to him a little bit indirectly. Now that I've said that, I have to tell you that I don't know that I can say he was a good guy. I'm not going to get into that today. But what I want you to understand is that between the Shakespearean plays and the King James Bible, which came out of what was known as the Elizabethan era, we have the foundations of Western civilization. And the importance of those matters cannot be overestimated. And if we want to save Western civilization, we actually have to turn to those bodies of literature. And they are vast bodies of literature. The man who wrote the Shakespearean plays was not William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was simply a horse handler on the Kent estate. And he was illiterate. He was the front man. The man who actually wrote the plays was fathered by a Kent, and his mother was the Queen of England. And, of course, had they known at that time that the Queen had an affair outside of marriage, they would have beheaded her back then. So it never could have been known. So his name was Sir Francis Bacon. And, of course, he couldn't be called a Kent because it probably would have led to the discovery of who his mother was. So Sir Francis Bacon wrote the plays. And as the Queen's son, he knew the inside stuff that was going on in the court. Now, that's just a little factoid. Is it important? Well, I think it's important because it gets me out there trying to wake the rest of you up. Dr. Peterson, you seem to think that we all have good and evil in us. Yeah, okay, I can go with that a little bit. But the problem is you appear to excuse the evil that's among us by saying, oh, it's just the normal good and evil that's in all men's hearts. Well, I don't think that is a very accurate supposition. I think it's very inaccurate, and I think you're naive not to realize the truth that's in the Bible and what it's really telling you. So I'm going to tell you right now, you missed it. And if you read it carefully, you're going to discover that from the get-go, evil was on the planet. And if you look at it in a bigger scale, the way I have, you'll realize that not only was Cain the son of one of the fallen angels that rebelled and was cast out of heaven, he was the first murderer, and we are actually dealing with his offspring, and perhaps the offspring of the other fallen angels, since there were approximately 200 of them. So the Bible is more important than what you think, Dr. Peterson. And it's actually the only way that I know that we can actually get out of the current mess is by becoming Bible readers and by understanding the truth that is in the Bible. Because right now we're dealing with the Khazarian mafia that has taken over the planet. They're in the high places of power. They're in governments everywhere. And they pretend who they are. But they're Khazarians, and they're the ones that were descended from some pretty bad dudes, namely Esau in the Bible, who became known as Edom. And so right now, most of us are missing the boat because we are not properly educated. So, Dr. Peterson, yes, I call upon you to educate yourself. Learn the truth that's in the Bible, that Eve was seduced by a fallen angel and gave birth to Cain. And from Cain, we ended up with the Canaanites. Seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? Sounds just like it. Canaanites. Yeah, that's it. It's that simple. And from the Canaanites, we were warned not to intermarry with them. And Esau took a Canaanite woman to wife, even though there's probably 5 warnings in the Bible not to do that. And then when he saw how much it upset his parents, he took a second Canaanite woman to wife. And then he realized what he had done. He realized that he had got himself excommunicated from the family of God, family of Yahweh, that he had broken the law, and he cried. The Bible says he cried great tears of repentance, but it did him no good. And in case you're wondering, Yahweh says, Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. There was good reason for that. And today you and I are dealing with the descendants of Esau, descendants of Cain. We're dealing with Edom, which manifested itself in that sociopathic country called Khazaria. And Khazaria is right where the Ukraine is. And the Khazarians had a specific banner they marched under. And that is the banner that Ukraine is marching under. So we in the United States of America have been taken over by the Khazarians. And they have brought their old nation up. Oh, and in case you're wondering, their new nation, they're pretending to be the chosen people. They're pretending to be the Israelites of old, and they're not. Sir, read the Bible. Folks out there, read the Bible. You have to read it to greater understanding. That means you're going to be rereading it. Now, as far as the best version of the Bible, I started off with the original NIV study Bible that a neighbor bought for me for Bible college. It's a decent version. There's some advantages and some disadvantages to it. From that, I went to the King James Version of the Bible. I tried some other versions, looked at them, went to the King James, finally got used to the syntax of the King James, of the Old English. And in case you're wondering, the syntax is reversed because we are descendants of the Israelites, and our language originally, the ancient Hebrew, the syntax was reversed. I want you to understand that if it wasn't for the Bible, I wouldn't have recovered. I wouldn't have been able to have this conversation. I wouldn't be able to do any care of myself, probably. I hate putting this out there because that's one thing I want is I want to be able to take care of myself. I like my autonomy. I'm an old man. I don't have much time left. I know that. I could tell you about how much time is left. I think I might be present for the great event. I might be just a little bit short of it. But most of you folks who are watching this and listening to me, you're going to be going through the great event. So I get to warn you about that. So my mission is to restore the proper government in the United States, the proper republic, the structure our founders gave us. I'm not going to stop short of that. I may not succeed during my life, but some of you folks may live to do it. I hope to God you're out there. I hope some youngsters are going to watch this, and anybody under the age of 30 is a child in my eyes. The Bible is the way we access the mind of God. The Bible is the way we train ourselves and sharpen our minds. The Bible is the way we're able to fight this battle right now because we're forced to fight it psychologically, spiritually. And of course, psychology means the study of the soul. Most people don't know that. The Bible is so important right now. Even Barack Obama said they cling to their guns and their Bibles. Well, those are the weapons. And which one's the most important? Definitely the Bible. What are you chewing, huh? She's a very good dog. She's a super dog. I really got to give her more time. It's nice and cool. I got the windows open, the door open, the screen doors there, vents are open. I'm not running the air conditioner. It's nice and quiet. So hopefully you can understand me and hear me quite well. If you want to support me and the channel, I'm not asking you for money. This channel is not monetized. That's why there's no commercials. I don't want any commercials in it. I do want you to buy my Bible. Give it to other people if you don't want it. But buy it and get it out there. The proper name version of the King James Bible corrects the errors that were made in the original King James Bible to an extremely large extent. And yes, there were problems with the King James Bible. And one of the major problems is that we, or they, or Sir Francis Bacon and his committees, the people working underneath him, copied the errors that Ptolemy II made in his translation of the Bible. That error was made in approximately 275 BC, and the error was committed while rendering the Greek version, while producing the Septuagint. He took out the proper name of Yahweh from the scriptures, from the parchments. And so they got translated with the generic noun, if you will, or category, classification of God. There's actually more behind that. In case you're wondering, the name of the fallen angel who seduced Eve was Gadriel. From Gadriel, according to Pastor Paul Burnham, we get the name Gad, God. So it was like a dual thing, and you will find when you read the Bible, it's written at levels, many levels. So don't think you get it the first time. And if you're reading the Bible and just getting started, read it concretely. Take it for what it says. Take it literally as best you can. You will find that it's written at several levels. You will find the prophets wrote about the past, the present, and the future. You will find different people prophesying in the Bible, including Israel, the man himself. He prophesied when he spoke. And above all, the midwife that attended Tamar. and delivered the two boys, Zerah and Pharez. Zerah being the oldest. Okay, that's my judgment. You read the Bible and you make up your mind which one was born first. That's a wonderful story you need to read. You need to understand a lot more than what you do, because you're going to have to fight these people. You're not going to have a choice. They're busy manipulating the earth, the world. They own it today. They literally own it. It's through a series of frauds at this point, but they certainly own it. What I want you to do, I want you to buy the Bible, buy my Bible, and read it. The language is modern English. The these and the thous have been removed. The translation, some of the words are more accurate, and it'll surprise you. If you've read the King James Bible, it'll surprise you to see the differences. And they are not that vast, but they are in there. I haven't had enough time with this new Bible to really speak with any authority on it in particular, except that all of my brothers who have been reading the Bible longer than I have, my big brothers, my older brothers, they all agree this is a good version of the Bible. The introductions to the different sections of the Bible and different books do not have agendas, political agendas in them. They're very factual and very neutral, very unoffensive, and they characterize things quite well, very succinctly. They're worth reading. This Bible is cheap. We got the last batch from Belarus quite a while ago, 2 years ago, and at this point there are quite a few left, and the prices are still very low. However, the prices are going to be going up. We're about 1/3 to 1/4 of proper market value in terms of the current price. We might be getting more like 1/3 to 1/2 at this point. But the prices can go up at any time. Any of the Bibles that support me and support my show that I get a commission on, the price ends in 77 cents. I didn't do that. The publisher did that. The publisher's a very wise man and very thoughtful. There's so much to learn in the Bible. It's just not funny. Our founding fathers all were schooled and educated upon the Bible. And so if you want to restore this nation, there's only one way to do it, and that is by reading the Bible through the Holy Spirit, which you access, and by accessing God's mind by reading the book. You've got to read the book. I cannot read it for you. Yes, I can tell you things, and I can shortcut it a little bit for you, but that's not quite proper. Not prim and proper. You really have to do it for yourself, because it will speak differently to you. And also, you've already been deceived by a bunch of jackasses in these big box churches on the corners telling you falsehoods. You got Christmas for one. Read the Bible. You'll discover he certainly wasn't born Christmas Day. I should know the exact date, but I don't. Yeah, I've studied so much and I'm loaded with so much information that I can't keep everything straight. But I'll do my best to tell you the truth. The fact is that if we want to save Western civilization, we have to go to the roots upon which we were built. And we were built upon the Bible. And to a large extent, we were built upon the Shakespearean plays. At least the English-speaking world needs to turn to those, because there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of things embedded in the Shakespearean plays that are just kind of wild. Dr. Peterson, I'm glad that I caught your video of your basic witness to the Bible. And I think that it's a good witness. I think you get the folks there a little ways. I think you've demonstrated your admiration for it. I think we can agree upon that. I hope that you will join me in helping me get this new Bible out there. It was published in 2015. First printed up, I believe, in 2019. It's a pretty new Bible. It's an improvement. There's a lot of work to be done. I hope that we can avoid this coming nuclear catastrophe. However, if we read the Bible, we'll see that there's nuclear war and biological war in there. It's pretty sad, but it's in there. Are we stuck with that stuff? I don't think so. I do think there's more of a flexibility than what people realize. And some things there is no flexibility on. For instance, the Earth age and there being a new Earth. Well, it's coming. And your lifetime, since you're watching this video, you're probably going to be going through it. So I'm trying to warn you about that to get you ready for it. It was set up a long time ago this way. And the evil ones have definitely done their best to hide the truth from us and to obscure every advance we've made. So don't let them get in the way between you and Creator Father Yahweh. Don't let them come in between us. You cannot do this on your own. You're not designed to take on the evil ones by yourself. You have to do it with Yahweh, with the Holy Spirit. You cannot do it on your own. Certainly, you will be taking action, but the only way that you'll know and do the right action is if you're lined up with the mind of Yahweh. That's the importance of the Bible. In my case, it helped heal me. It brought me out of a lot of the stroke damage. It brought me out of the stroke damage enough so I could realize my real mission in life. Yes, I've been humbled. I don't have much, and that's okay. You know, I do have a presence. I could have conversations. I couldn't do that for quite a while. I withstood the boards going after me. Once these boards find out that you're a conservative, they go after you. It's been that way for quite a while. They tell us to coexist, but they've been going after us all the time. Off! I don't know what she's going after. It's nice and dark in here. And it's a little cool, and I'm going to go get back into bed and see if I can get another hour of sleep. Okay. I don't know what she thinks she's saying. So go buy my Bible. It's the best Bible on the planet. The best one. It improves quite a bit. It corrects the error of Ptolemy II. I don't know if Ptolemy II was a good guy or a bad guy. We've been disputing that among us. That question came up a couple of years ago. And I haven't been able to get over and hang out with my friends, my brothers and sisters in quite a while. And if you want to help me, buy my Bible. Want to pray for me, pray to Yahweh that He would give me whatever I need to accomplish my mission, to do whatever He wants, whatever His will is. His will is good enough for me, believe me. And if there's one example in the New Testament that we need to follow, it's Yahshua, who set the example of He didn't do anything outside of His Father's will. So if it's good enough for Yahshua, I think I'll do it. I mean, it's real simple. You build that, you work out your salvation by building that relationship. So folks, get the Bible. Jordan Peterson, get my Bible and keep reading it. And if you got questions, I don't mind answering them. I mean, seriously, I'll explain to you whatever you want to know. And you folks out there have questions, I'll do the best I can as well. Now, this goes up on the Dr. John Taylor Kent channel. It should go up on Awakening Israel, but you can only put a video up on one channel or the other. You can't do both. I tried that. It doesn't work. Yahweh bless. He certainly has blessed me.